Hello everyone, welcome you to my YouTube channel Biology Friends. My name is Paras Goel. Uh, Human reproduction chapter is going to start. In this video, I will cover the male reproductive organ and further topics will be covered in the subsequent videos.
Male reproductive organ. Male reproductive organ, which is basically testis, its associated ducts and glands, which is testis, its associated ducts and glands. Region in pelvic region. So basically discussing about the testis. Length is 4 to 5 centimeter. Width is 2 to 3 centimeter. It lies in pelvic region. It is present in extra-abdominal cavity, outside body, inside scrotum, inside the scrotum. So basically the question is why it is lying in the extra abdomen, outside the body. It is lying outside the body because it need 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius less temperature than body temperature. So body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius and it needs approximately 2 and 2.5 is 34.5 to 35 degrees Celsius. 34.5 to 35 degrees Celsius for spermogenesis. For one of the sperms. Yes. Let's talk about its development. It developed near kidney, but at 7th month of fetal life, it descend down into the scrotum. It descend down into scrotum via testosterone hormone. And if it fails to descend down, and that condition is called the cryptodism. And this condition is called the cryptodism. Cryptodism is the descent down of, it is the inability of the testis to come to extra abdominal cavity, that is the inside the scrotum, through the inguinal canal. It may be due to the lack of the hormone, that is testosterone, or the blockage of the canal. If corrected surgically, or the testis can be the naturally descend after 1 year, after 1 year of the birth, but it needs to be corrected because it may lead to the infertility. That said, may lead to infertility. Yes, it may lead to the infertility. So let's discuss the sac in the testes are located. Let's assume it's the scrotum. Here are the spermatic ducts through which this testis is hanging from the inguinal canal, and this is assuming the testis. And here are the structure known as the gubernaculum. Gubernaculum, which attach the testes to scrotum, which attach the testes to scrotum. And this is the spermatic cord. Spermatic cord. What's its function? Its function is it has blood vessels, ducts, blood vessels. Through blood vessels, the testosterone which is formed in the testes circulate in the body. Testosterone circulate, and this is known as, this is is testis, and this is scrotum. It is the rough diagram to show you the gubernaculum. The testis is attached to the scrotum through the gubernaculum, through the gubernaculum. Yes, let's discuss. Let me show you a photo. Next is the testis, layer of the testis. Layers in testis. There are basically three layers. First is the tunica vaginalis. Second is the tunica albuginea. And third is the tunica vasculosa. Okay, let's have a pic. Here it is. Tunica albuginea divides the testes into the 250 lobes, 250 lobes per testis, 250 lobes per testis, and each lobe contain 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules. Okay, and show you one more pic. Here in this diagram, you will be able to appreciate all the three layers. Here is the tunica albuginea. See how it is dividing. Here, dividing, one layer dividing, and here is the tunica vaginalis, the outer layer, and the outer is the parietal and inner is the visceral layer, and these are the muscles of no use, and showing that seminiferous tubules open into rete testis open into epididymis, which will be discussed later. Okay, but I am telling that tunica albuginea divides testes into 250 lobes, 250 lobes, and each lobe has 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules. Other than the seminiferous tubules, it also has the stoma. Let me discuss The histology of the lobes. Lobes contain seminiferous tubule, seminiferous tubules and stroma. Stroma has blood vessels, and Leydig cell. Function I am telling just away. The seminiferous tubule has Sertoli cells or nursing cell and the spermatogonia. Sperms are formed. Okay. Here is the one seminiferous tubule. Other seminiferous tubule. Other. This is the Sertoli cells, and here are the spermatogonia. And this is the Sertoli cells, and here are the spermatogonia. This is the Sertoli cells, and here are the spermatogonia. Here are the spermatogonia. Okay, here is the Leydig cell, blood vessels. Okay, let's discuss about this is the Leydig cell, and this is the Sertoli cells. What is the function of the Leydig cell? Function of Leydig cell. LH act on Leydig cell, act on it to form testosterone. LH act on it to form the testosterone. It is the and function of Sertoli cells. Function of the Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells, firstly, it releases or make ABP, which is the androgen binding protein. Androgen binding protein, which increase the concentration of the testosterone inside the cell. Function is increase testosterone concentration inside cell. Yes, it is the androgen binding protein. It also make AMP, anti-Mullerian hormone or anti-Mullerian protein hormone, which does not lead to develop female reproductive tract in child or in fetus. Correct word is fetus. AMP protein is released in the fetal life, and it does not Mullerian is the gene which develops the female reproductive tract in the female, and AMP is the hormone, is the protein which suppresses that gene, and the female reproductive tract is not developed. That is the uterus, fallopian tube, and ovaries, cervix, and the vagina. Yes. Okay. Next. it help in spermination. That is the release of the sperm. Release of the sperm. It releases inhibin. It releases the inhibin hormone by FSH activity. FSH act on the Sertoli cells. FSH act on the Sertoli cells and FSH act on the Sertoli cells and it releases the inhibin hormone which gives the negative feedback to the FSH. So basically, before going to ducts, I will let's do the regulation. How all this process is regulated. So listen one thing. If anybody asks you that is the testosterone present in our body before puberty? Yes, it is present in the fetal life. In the 7th month of the fetal life, in 7th month of the fetal life, for the descent down of the testis into the scrotum. So we are doing now the regulation. How this whole process is regulated. Okay, hypothalamus releases the GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone, which stimulate the anterior pituitary, Anterior pituitary releases the FSH and H. LH act on the Leydig cell. Sorry. Act on the Leydig cell. LH act on the Leydig cell and form testosterone. FSH act on Sertoli cell and forms inhibin, which give negative feedback to anterior pituitary. Testosterone also give negative feedback to pituitary as well as to hypothalamus for GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. Okay, Sertoli cells and testosterone act on the Sertoli cells and help in the sperm formation or the spermoneogenesis. That is the formation of the sperm. And it is testosterone act on it is the paracrine nature hormone. So basically this whole process is regulated in this manner. Next topic is the ducts. Ducts. Why the ducts are necessary? As the sperms are formed in the testes and we need to carry it to the ova for the fertilization, and before going to the ova we need to ejaculate the sperms. So the ducts are required to transfer the sperm from the testes inside the uterus, inside the female reproductive tract. Yes, ducts. First is the ratty testis. Ratty testis, it receives sperms from semiparous tubule. Semiparous tubule. Second is the vas efferitus. Now the question arises. Generally, the NEET exam asks the which duct passes or exit from the testes. It is the vas efferitus. Vas efferitus exit the testes. and here vas apparatus is 6 to 20 centimeter, 10 to 20 centimeters, sorry, 10 to 20 centimeter ciliated columnar epithelium, ciliated columnar epithelium, columnar epithelium. So basically it is lined by the ciliated columnar epithelium, and after vas apparatus comes the epididymis, which has three part: head, body, and the tail, which is known as the caudus epididymis, head epididymis, epididymis. It is the 6 meter long tube, 6 meter long duct, 6 meter. It has stereocilia, has stereocilia. You know stereocilia is has 9 plus 0 arrangement of microtubule. Microtubule. Stereocilia means the cilia does not function or does not move. There is only presence of the cilia, but it doesn't move. It has the 9 plus 0 arrangement of the microtubule. Function is functional maturity of the sperm. Function is the functional maturity of sperm. Fourth is the vas deferentium. Deferens. It is from the epididymis. It is from the epididymis to ejaculatory duct. Seminal gland duct join into it, or it join with the seminal gland duct to form ejaculatory duct. After vas deferentia, is the come the fifth is the ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct will transfer from vas deferens to outside world. To outside world. Okay. One more information that I forget. That vas deferentia take loop over urinary bladder before joining, before becoming ejaculatory duct. Let's more clear you about all the ducts, how they are. Here, see. Here is the testis. Testis leading to this vas deferentium. Vas deferentium taking loop over the urinary bladder and forming the ejaculatory duct. Here the seminal vesicle, seminal gland, seminal vesicle or gland. I will discuss all the function of the seminal vesicle and the gland. Here is the ureter, prostatic ureter, membranous, and the pensile ureter. Prostatic ureter, membranous, and the pensile ureter. Okay. And after duct, ejaculatory duct from the urethra to glans penis outside world. Uh, Glans penis. There is the foreskin over the glans penis. Foreskin, movable foreskin over the glans penis, which is known as uh, the foreskin, which is known as the foreskin. Glans penis has membranous skin called foreskin. No use, just for information. So discuss about now. Our next topic is about discussing. We have discussed the ducts. The next topic is semen. Before going to semen, let us discuss about the glands, which are helping in ejaculations or aiding in the ejaculation and forming the semen. First is the seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle gland. Okay. Its secretion are fructose, inositol, profibrinogen, fructose, inositol, profibrinogen, calcium. So, fructose, it is secreting the fructose, helping in nourishment of the sperm. Calcium increases its mobility of the sperm. Profibrinogen converts to the fibrinogen, which help in the capitation, which I will be discussing in the upcoming lecture. Second is the prostate gland. Prostate gland. Its secretion are calcium, profibrinogen. Okay. Prostate gland increase the mobility, help in increase the mobility of the sperm, help in increase mobility of sperm. Third is the Cowper's gland or the bulbourethral gland. Cowper's gland or bulbourethral gland. Cowper's, it help in the lubrication during coitus. Help in lubrication. During coitus. And help in maintaining pH. pH of urethra. Because the urinary is basically acid and the semen need and the sperm need the alkaline pH to survive. So after that, all the secretion of these plus sperms leads to the formation of the semen. I discuss about the semen. Sperms plus all gland secretion. 5 to 6 ml per ejaculate. pH is 7.2 to 7.7. 150 to 200 sperms per ml, that is the 200 से 300. Oh, sorry, these are million sperms per annum. So basically, for the fertilization to occur, for the proper fertilization to occur, at least 60% of sperm must have proper shape and size, and of them 40% must have vigorous mobility. That's all for this.
Thank you for watching. For notes, check the description box and don't forget to like this video and subscribe my channel. Have a great time.